Welcome to Earthy Remedy. If you've ever had a scratchy throat, felt restless at night, or wanted a simple kitchen trick to soothe your skin, today's pantry heroes might help, safely and gently. We're talking honey, propolis, and bee pollen, familiar ingredients with practical food-first uses for a calm night sip and a tiny, single-serve propolis throat salve you can try tonight. Stay with me through the episode because I'll walk you through exact measures, a mandatory patch test, and a conservative 7-day microtrial so you can track results without guesswork.
Quick note before we begin. This episode is strictly culinary, safety first, and single serve. I'll name who should avoid these items, and I'll repeat the infant honey warning more than once. No dramatic claims here, just small, doable rituals you can test tonight.
So what lives in the bee pantry? First, culinary honey. You'll see raw honey and pasteurized honey. Raw honey is minimally processed and flavorful. Pasteurized honey has been gently heated to reduce microbial load and is often a safer pick in households with infants present. Second, propolis. That's a resin bees collect from tree buds. Bees use it to seal their hives. People tincture propolis in alcohol or dilute it in honey for oral or topical uses. Third, bee pollen, little granules gathered from flowers. All three show up in kitchens and apothecary jars, but they're different in potency and risk. Today, we'll focus on culinary doses, teaspoons, single spoons, and small dilutions, not concentrated extracts.
A quick practical distinction. A teaspoon of honey in tea is a culinary dose. A dropperful of concentrated propolis tincture is not. That difference matters for safety, especially for folks with allergies or households with infants. Keep that distinction in mind as we move to benefits.
Now, what benefits might people notice? I'll be cautious in my language. Chamomile may support calm. Propolis may offer short-term surface comfort. Here's how I'd group them. First, nervous system and sleep readiness. A warm honey night sip can be a sensory cue to wind down. The ritual itself, the warmth, the sweetness, the slow sipping, signals rest. Many listeners find a small honey ritual helps them slow down before bed.
Second, throat comfort. At culinary doses, propolis-infused honey or a single teaspoon of honey can provide mild surface soothing for transient irritation. Think scratchy throat after a long talk or a dry winter evening. This is not a cure for infection, but people often feel short-term relief.
Third, gentle topical calming. Cooled chamomile or honey-based rinses and a tiny propolis-diluted topical spoon can feel soothing on non-broken, irritated skin. Again, small single-serve steps and patch testing are essential before wider use.
Before we talk about everyday uses, here are the key groups who should check with a clinician or avoid bee products. Infants under 12 months. Do not give honey under any circumstances. People with known bee, pollen, or propolis allergies should avoid these products. If you're pregnant, breastfeeding, on anticoagulants, or taking immune-modulating meds, check with your clinician before regular propolis use. Those are the main caution flags.
Okay, practical everyday uses you might try briefly. Stir 1 teaspoon of honey into warm tea after it cools slightly. Add a drizzle to oats or plain yogurt as a flavor and routine cue. For skin, try a tiny, patch-tested dab of diluted propolis or cooled chamomile tea as a rinse. Remember, single serve, low dose, and test one thing at a time.
Safety primer now. Please follow this exactly. If you plan to try propolis or bee pollen, do an on-skin patch test before any oral or topical use. Apply a dime-sized amount behind your ear or on the inner forearm. Leave it uncovered and wait 24 hours. Watch for redness, itching, swelling, or breathing difficulty. If any of those occur, stop immediately and seek medical care for severe reactions. Repeat after me. No honey for infants under 12 months. If you live with or care for infants, choose pasteurized honey for household use and avoid introducing raw honey into baby food.
A few sourcing and storage quick tips. Prefer reputable suppliers that offer third-party testing where available, especially for propolis and bee pollen. If you dilute honey with water or infusions, store mixtures refrigerated and use within 48 hours. Discard if the mixture becomes cloudy, foamy, or off-smelling. And if you see labels that make broad medical promises, be skeptical. Stick to culinary labeling and quality signals.
Now, the part you stayed for, the recipes. First up, Calm Honey Lemon Night Sip. This is a gentle sensory ritual to encourage wind down and offer a touch of throat comfort.
Ingredients: 1 cup hot water, just off a boil. 1 teaspoon culinary honey. Use pasteurized honey if infants are in your household. Optional, 1 teaspoon cooled chamomile infusion or 1 teaspoon mild elderberry infusion if you like the flavor. 1/4 teaspoon lemon juice or a small pinch of lemon peel. Optional, 1/8 teaspoon ground cinnamon for warmth.
Equipment you'll need: a mug, a small teapot or heat-safe cup, and a spoon for stirring. If you're using loose chamomile, a small strainer helps.
Step 1. Steep your base. If using chamomile, pour hot water over 1 teaspoon of dried chamomile and steep 3 to 5 minutes. If not using chamomile, simply pour hot water into your mug. Step 2. Remove the herb or let the water cool a minute so it is warm but not scalding. Step 3. Add 1 teaspoon honey and stir. Add honey after the water cools slightly to protect honey's beneficial qualities and to avoid overheating. Step 4. Add lemon or cinnamon if you like. Step 5. Sip slowly, about 20 to 40 minutes before bed, in a quiet, mindful way. Take at most 1 serving per evening. Frequency guidance: 2 to 4 nights per week, while you're testing whether it helps your sleep onset and perceived calm.
How to microtrial this sip. For 7 nights, try the night sip on even-numbered nights only, or pick a schedule that changes only this one variable. Each evening, log 3 items: sleep latency in minutes, perceived calm on a 0 to 10 scale, and any throat changes. A simple voice note or one-line text is perfect. Don't overcomplicate it. After 7 days, compare the nights you used the sip to nights you didn't. That's how you find out if this ritual actually helps you.
Recipe 2. The main guided micro recipe many listeners asked for: Propolis Honey Throat Spoon. This is a single-serve culinary dilution for brief throat comfort. I'll give exact math so you don't overdo it.
Ingredients: 5 milliliters of honey, that's 1 teaspoon, and 0.25 milliliters of propolis tincture. That creates a 1 to 20 dilution. If your dropper measures in drops, 0.25 milliliters is about 5 drops, depending on your dropper, but check your dropper calibration. Alternatively, use a shop-bought propolis honey and take a single teaspoon serving. Equipment: a calibrated dropper, a small clean jar or spoon, and a tissue.
Step 1. Perform the on-skin patch test now if you haven't already. Apply a tiny dab of diluted propolis, mix a drop or 2 with a smear of honey behind your ear or on your inner forearm and wait 24 hours. Step 2. Smell the propolis. If it smells sharply medicinal or off, do not use it. Step 3. If patch test is clear, place 5 ml honey into a small dish, add 0.25 ml propolis tincture, mix thoroughly. Step 4. Taste a micro drop, just a tiny taste on the tongue. If you notice tingling, itching, swelling, or odd throat sensations, spit it out and stop immediately. Step 5. If all is well, take 1 small spoonful and swallow slowly, letting it coat the throat. Use at most once in the evening. Stop immediately for any itchy mouth, throat tightness, swelling, or hives.
How often? For both the night sip and the propolis spoon, start with conservative frequency. Night sip, 2 to 4 nights per week. Propolis spoon, no more than once per evening and only on nights you notice mild throat irritation. Do a 7-day micro trial for either ritual, changing only one thing at a time so you can see if it helps. Micro trial template quick recap. Baseline for 2 nights without the ritual, then 4 to 7 nights using the ritual. Each night record: throat comfort 0 to 10, sleep latency in minutes if testing the sip, any skin changes, and any allergic signs. If you see any hives, persistent swelling, facial tightness, breathing changes, or progressive throat symptoms, stop and seek urgent medical care. A few extra tips and sourcing notes before we close. If you care for infants, buy pasteurized honey and keep household practices safe. For propolis and bee pollen, prefer vendors who publish sourcing and lab testing, and avoid products making bold medical claims. When you mix propolis into honey, keep your mixture refrigerated and use within 48 hours. Discard if it looks cloudy or smells fermented.
Short recap. Today you learned what's in a bee pantry: honey, propolis, bee pollen. What modest benefits many people notice for sleep, throat comfort, and gentle topical soothing. And 2 clear single-serve recipes: the Calm Honey Lemon Night Sip and the Propolis Honey Throat Spoon. Crucially, do the patch test. Never give honey to infants under 12 months. Check with a clinician if you have allergies or are on certain medications, and run a simple 7-day microtrial so you can see what actually helps you.
If you enjoyed this careful, food-first approach and want more simple herbal rituals for sleep and skin, try 1 small sip or a single-serve propolis spoon tonight and tag @EarthyRemedy with a 1-sentence log, what you tried, and 1 number from your mini journal, sleep latency or throat comfort. I'll read some listener notes in a future episode, and we'll keep this practical and evidence-minded. Thank you for spending this time with me. Remember, start small, test gently, and notice how you feel. Listen to your body. Trust the earth. Feel the difference. Until next time, this is Earthy Remedy.